Greetings, everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, depending where we are. So, we are here back again at this hours of the day to update you what's going on in the South African election. Yes, it has been the vote has been counted. Now, the main question is with who the ANC party will form that coalition. So, again, we have here Dr. Herman Ogba Mikael with us. Welcome, Dr. Herman.
Thanks for inviting me, Mahlet.
I think it's a pleasure to have you here as always. What are the progresses so far since we have, we also, you have updated us last night. It was the question still with who ANC will form this coalition is up in the air. Of course, based on consensus, we have you have shared your view with who it could be strategically. Is there any progress? Is there any finalization with that regards?
I wouldn't say finalization, but rather a progress here. And as you know, the ANC didn't get the outright majority with its 50. Which is 50% to form a government. But since that didn't happen, then the ANC is urged to have a coalition government with any party that is interested or that can have some sort of negotiation to take this government formation ahead. So EFF, Julius Malema, the leader, has had a long sort of press briefing, so many questions from journalists, and it seems that he is also willing to have the coalition. But it's very interesting that he feels that the ANC is humbled actually to rather approach EFF than the opposite around, or than vice versa. Yeah. So it seems that if they might go for it, yeah. Because I was thinking with DA, not because the ANC and DA have same ideologies. I mean, because the DA is center right and the ANC is more into the leftist, and then so we'll see that what will happen in the next few days, or maybe next few weeks.
It has taken EFF by surprise, the fact that ANC is interested to create a coalition with EFF.
I don't think it's a surprise. Everything looks more anticipated, if not planned, but it's more anticipated. And that was something that we could have predicted. Yeah.
Would you
Even
say
though I personally,
go on, please. Yeah.
even though I personally didn't believe that EFF being a bit radical, I mean, ANC is sometimes flexible in terms of its ideologies, not like flexible in a very lenient way, but they're more accommodating in terms of ideas, and they're more open and to different opinions in the country.
Do you think that ANC was surprised to lose the majority after all what happened, in the past 1 year in South Africa? If we start from August last year, 2023, having the BRICS summit and the major announcements, and with regards to the position of the Ukraine-Russia war, their position with Israel and in the Gaza conflict, and taking Israel to ICC. No, was it ICJ or something? Yeah. Now let me share
ISIS.
this video with our audience, and then you will share with us. I want you to, to reflect on it. Let me see.
United States. They're pro-Zionist, pro-Israel. United States. They're pro-Zionist, pro-Israel, anti-BRICS, and they want to reverse all of the advances that South Africa has made as an independent political and economic and moral actor on the world stage. So I think that South Africa is currently being targeted for something like a soft coup and interference in their elections and in their campaigning by means of the United States through the National Endowment for Democracy and maybe from through other organs of state power and private sector power to funnel money into the Democratic Alliance and build them up and try to use them to unseat the ANC, which went through their own sort of neoliberal phase when they first came to power after the end of apartheid. But they're returning more now to their roots, which is more concerned with the actual social welfare and not so much with the rampant neoliberal capitalist approach, corporate approach to the economy. Not to mention the fact, obviously, with the case against the ICJ, South Africa is they have a very large target on their backs. And I think that because it is a democratic system, the U.S. is most likely going to try to pursue regime change in South Africa by interfering with the elections. If they can do it through simply outfunding the ANC by pouring funding and donations and contributions and providing technical assistance to the Democratic Alliance, then they'll do it that way. If they can't guarantee that they can do it that way, then they'll probably try to tamper with the election itself. So there need to be, I think, there's an election coming up in a couple of months, shortly after our.
By the way, the sound, it sounds like an AI thing, but the video is going viral, and it serves here. The points that are raised serves for our discussion. So what do you think of that? Do you think, after all this happens, that ANC kind of anticipated it will lose the majority or something?
Well, yeah, I can see from the video. I don't know. I may not have evidence. I always speak or give my opinion based on evidence. But there is a general consensus that the United States has always interfered in any country in the world. That's a reality. Have they interfered in the South African election? No, I don't. I mean, I don't have any evidence. I wouldn't say no or yes. Yeah, but I have seen the former ambassador, who was an ambassador of the U.S. in South Africa, commenting, I think, on New York Times. He was an ambassador, I think, between 2013 and 16, said that this scenario about the ANC was predictable from 2015. I don't know. He's talking about 8 years ago, and he could predict this scenario. There was a time that Guademanatache, one of the ANC top of yeah, I think it's losing connection to some extent. Actually accusing the U.S. Embassy interfering in some of African political affairs, but I wouldn't go there. I just mentioned it because I just wanted to underline that there is always interference from the US in any country in Africa or any other country in the world. So we will see with time actually what the interference. And let me tell you also in terms of the DA, of course, they are not into BRICS from what I understand. The ANC is more into BRICS and some other political parties. The DA is, whether we like or not, it's more westernized. The DA has a soft policy when it comes to the Israeli-Palestine conflict. So the DA is more capitalistic, or whether we like or not, it's market-driven economic system that they actually drive in. So, of course, actually, if the US is trying to support the DA, then it's not surprising. After all, the United States was one of the apartheid proponents, whether we like or not, including the other Westerners. But the reality on the ground have changed the reality that we see today. So it will not be surprising if they support the DA. But even though it will not be direct, it will not be a direct support, but in terms of ideology, in terms of what they wanted to see in South Africa. Yeah. So it's all about ideology here. Yeah. It's not about whether it's the US or the Western or Russia or China. It's all about interests here. Yeah. The national interests of the US comes forth, before any other nation. That's why they keep on interfering, and they will continue interfering. But we will see what will happen in the future with all the multilateralism that we witness globally.
In some countries, for example, we see that when the ruling party is so strong, then the oppositions come together and sign a pact, some kind of agreement, so that they can be a strong opponent to the ruling party. Is there such a thing in these major opposition parties? Like, for example, can such thing happen between MK and DA?
I wouldn't be into the mind of these leaders of the political parties. Anything is possible, yeah, because we see every day that things are changing, because each party would like to see their own interests. What is their agenda? What are their ideologies? What are their policies? So you cannot rule out anything at the moment, but MK and DA, no, I don't know. I don't foresee it, in the near future. It doesn't look that they can coexist because they have different policies in the country. There is a land issue. There is an issue of this black economic empowerment, which they differ in. I mean, as I have said, it's all about, at the same time, it has to do with the policies and the ideologies of these different political parties. I mean, if they form the coalition now without having the same or similar policies and ideologies, then there won't be a future. They cannot work together well. Yeah.
Last time when you told us that DA has also something above 20% in the last election, so it was surprising for us. And then there's something that you said, I remember, like, do not maybe not exactly the word, but do not underestimate it. But it has a lot of South African youth supporters, right? Regardless of race. So there was this video I'd like to share, and maybe you will add something on it, for the audience. Now, this is the Democratic Alliance gathering, I think, after the vote is counted. And this was, a speech made by one of them.
Asimvotele kufanele 1+1 siyanqoba ibindasu. Give it up for Chris Papa. Nina besilo aveni bahle namhlanje. Sanbonani, good afternoon. What a historic and wonderful day to be part of the Democratic Alliance here in KwaZulu-Natal. Kumnandi bayitiye namhlanje. During the struggle years, this stadium, Curry's Fountain, was a place where all races assembled for political gatherings, sports matches, and friendship. In this place, lana sinlana namhlanje, people were united in their goal to bring freedom to our great country. Lana esihlangana khona namhlanje, abantu babelwele inkululeko yethu esinayo namhlanje.
That I should say, I never met like a white person or white South African speaking that African language so fluently, and thousands of people, all those are supporters of DA. So because the other day, actually last night, we have been here and we were discussing, there were so many people that, didn't buy the idea that ANC might create a coalition with DA, thinking, there's this undermining of DA, how much it has been perceived or embraced by the people, the South African people. So I just wanted, for our audience to show that the gathering, the number of the people, and how much they are into the hearts of the South African people. So what do you say about this?
Well, I told you yesterday, yes, historically, Black people affiliate with the what we call the African National Congress or any other Black party. But, it's been after 30 years now, you can just realize that people are more not into the racial politics. But it looks to me that people are deviating from the racial politics to some extent. If not all, but somebody I saw comments yesterday in yesterday's interview that I was lying that about the young generation. They call them not. It's not I'm not the one who called them the. Born free generation, and this premier actually, he looked also a white guy speaking, I think Zulu or Isiquisa. And you can see now where this country is going to. Okay, leave the ideologies and policies. I'm talking about the pragmatic politics. Apart from emotions, emotionally we can say that ANC cannot affiliate or form a coalition with DA or this and that. Now it's not about emotions, it's about a political decision. Yeah? A political decision of also survivor of a political party itself. And also not only that, even I see President Ramaphosa was actually saying, was it actually today, or I saw that he was saying that let's just care about the nation or the country, the people ahead. They call it this Batopele or people first. So they have to focus on what is good for the country. I mean, now you can only rescue a nation. Nation is made up of various ethnic groups here, about 11 linguistic groups or more. Based on the pragmatic politics, what do people want? You must know, people were talking about corruption, service delivery, public service delivery, and there was an issue of this electricity or load shedding, which has affected also the industry and some other issues. Unemployment, as I have said, very high in the country. I have to reiterate, 32% or more, many of them young people. So what are these political parties going to offer to the people matters right now more than the racial politics? Because in any country, this ethnic or racial politics never succeeded. It just creates more division and hatred between, among each of these ethnic or groups or racial groups. So they have to think in terms of one nation, and they have to move forward based on pragmatic politics, as I have said.
Interesting. Somebody asked, okay, what's the issue? Does Ramaphosa stay in power? I think his ANC still has that privilege of nominating the president, right? So probably he still will continue to be a president. The issue is, of course, for your question, that now ANC has to form a coalition. 576 objections were launched by 28 political parties, says Royal Opinion, who's streaming with us from South Africa. And Zan Pal says MK and DA have total opposite ideologies. That's what also Dr. Herman said. But as said, in politics, there is no permanent enemies. Yeah, exactly. Elections have been objected by 28 political organizations, but does that even matter now? I don't think, yeah. Are people rejecting the result? Not people, parties, political parties.
Yeah, but yes, they can reject, they can put forward their complaints, and the IEC, the Electoral Commission, needs to make a ruling on that, whether it should be reconsidered or whether it should be reviewed or recounted. So it's based on the constitution, actually. So we will have to see when the IEC, Independent Electoral Commission, rules on it.
Another thing that we have seen new is that Ramaphosa in his speech, I think it was this morning or yesterday, South Africa first. Is that a new motto?
Well, he always said the same thing, yeah. But this is also, he's reiterating actually that he cares about South Africa more than he cares about the party or politics. So it's some sort of a political gimmick or public relations exercise from what I understand, because that's the only option that he can do right now at the moment to unite the country to move forward.
Yeah, and also given that their involvement in the outside politics, like for example, the Gaza conflict, and so do you think that's also included in this? That they might not be as
Well,
focused as they were?
Well, the one of the major things also in the coalition is about the foreign policy. These different political parties have different political agendas in terms of their foreign agenda or their foreign policy, who to affiliate, in terms of which countries to have a better diplomacy with. The DA and ANC, in most cases, are divided in their foreign policy. About Russian and Ukraine war, they have a different view. About the Israeli Palestinian conflict, the Gaza Strip, a different policy, and many more, even in BRICS, in terms of forming BRICS. And so these are the other matters also that will come out in which they may not agree on a table.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Herman, again for being with us here and updating us on what is going on in South Africa election. Hopefully, again, we will meet and you will update us also when it is decided with which political party ANC will form a coalition, and what are the things that we can expect out of that? How will it affect the South Africans themselves and the Africans in South Africa as well, in terms of their policy? So greetings to all of you here, Catherine, Royal Opinion, Alex, Martin, Zanpal, for all your comments and questions. Thank you. And thanks again, Dr. Herman.
Thanks. Yeah. So what was the question? Because I lost you somewhere. Yeah.
The last one, no, I was concluding that the last question was, of course, Ramaphosa saying South Africa first. Is that a new motto? I think you have addressed that. It looks like now it is the only option for him to refer to. Better future. You have one question actually that just appeared, a comment. Can the DA be trusted? You can only give your opinion, of course. Somebody asked, can the DA be trusted? Well, it's a question for you, Dr. Herman.
Because I lost you, because you were lost in the connection.
So I asked, can the DA be trusted? The audience, one of the audience asked in the chat section.
Generally, there is a consensus, especially among those who are against DA. I mean, generally, historically, this country has come from the apartheid era where, there was a distrust among this population between what we call the apartheid white minority ruled before 1994. But I think politics usually evolves. I mean, politics is a process. What I'm going to say is they might have changed to some extent in the last 30 years with time, and whether they will be trusted or not, they would have to show what they have to do in the ground. I mean, whether they will be serving the people with honesty on the ground. So mere speculation. Yes, historically there is a mistrust. Many Black South Africans might believe that the DA is not to be trusted. Then they will rule us again. They will do this and that, all those things. But I think from my point of view, given that fact in its own place, I would believe that it's better also instead of distrusting, but you need also to show yourself your strength as well. I mean, if I don't trust a political party, then I should trust myself. I should have confidence in myself. So they have to instill confidence in the population about whichever political party people voted for.
Yeah, I agree. True. You have to instill that confidence that you have been robbed because of, certain things that the political party said and failed to do it, right? So how did at Better Future continues with his question or her question? So how did the EFF face such huge discrepancy at the voting numbers, or is it a correspondence amongst yourselves? But is it, just to clarify, did Jacob Zuma accept the result, or is he still pushing for the recount?
Mahlet, are you there?
Yeah. I said, did Jacob Zuma ask for the recount of the vote, or he accepted it?
No, there is a report that he didn't want the results to be finalized. He just, presented his concern to the IEC, but I haven't heard anything yet, whether it will be reviewed, recounted, or finalized. But it seems it's been finalized from what I see here.
Okay. No, but that was it. I mean, it was for a short time that we wanted to update you, but still we have taken half an hour. Thank you very much again, Dr. Hermon, and hopefully we will have you here again. Thanks.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.